Hey Jasmine, welcome to Creators Copywriting Brigade. I'm excited to have you. Can you just introduce yourself and then what do you love about writing?
Yeah, so my name is Jasmine. I've been a copywriter since 2019. So way back in COVID is when I actually started to write for a living and make money from it. And one of the things I really love about writing is to be able to really send a message to a massive amounts of people on a widespread scale, and really impact them with that message, I think is the biggest thing, right? Because whether you're selling a product or a service, there's always a story behind that product or service that someone can relate to and will change their lives. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I was actually looking at an old kind of marketing campaign with Steve Jobs. It was that Think Different campaign where they
Hmm.
kind of teed up like Muhammad Gandhi and like Martin Luther King and tied Apple's values to these really cool forward thinkers. They could have gone in and talked about like all this jargon, but instead they kind of like captive or like kind of made all these creatives want Macs, and so I thought that was interesting. But for the second question, let's talk about like, is there any sort of writing framework or any sort of thing that you've learned technique over the years as a writer that you could share with us?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say one of my personal favorite techniques is to really shift beliefs in my writing, because a lot of people have these predispositioned notions that usually stop them from achieving their goals, especially when it comes to purchasing like a product or service, right? So when it comes to like a belief shifting writing framework, I always love to start off with like the common belief that they think is true, and then after that hit them with a controversial statement and be like, but it's not actually what it seems, or this is actually like how it's supposed to be, and then go into showing them and not telling them why their belief is wrong, and why like whoever told them that their belief was right is wrong as well. And then from there, telling them like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be, and introducing like the product or solution. So,
Yeah, I really like that. That sounds cool. Could you give an example or two of that?
off the top of my head.
We could work through one. I mean, we could even kind of just riff on one potentially. So
Yeah.
let's just say that like you, I don't know. I wrote something the other day that maybe this is an idea that sometimes like people think that you need to post 5 times a week. Maybe you only need to post like 1 or 2 times a week with like better quality. Could that be in that framework?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's so many ways that you could position that, right? Like if you're writing it as like a post, you could be like, PSA, you don't need to post 5 times a week to gain X amount of followers per month. Um,
Hmm.
that'd be like a hook, or like, I mean, it's really applicable to like any sort of industry, right? So like I think a common one that comes to mind is like the health and fitness industry, where people have like these predisposition notions of like, well, I can't get into shape because like I work too much. And it's like a good hook for that would be, your desk isn't stopping you from shedding an extra 20 pounds. Like
Yeah,
your lack of time management is, if you, depending on like how direct you
yeah,
want to be, right?
yeah.
And it's so dependent on like your brand too, if you're writing the copy yourself for like your own brand. But I mean, there's so many different ways that you could phrase it. So
Yeah, it's really interesting. So it's almost like eat burgers and bacon all day and get a six pack in 8 weeks or something, like some sort of, yeah, I like that because it
yeah.
kind of like challenges the way you think about it. And just a follow up question, just from my own curiosity, do you study like when you see like a good thing on the timeline, do you stop and like write it down and like analyze it to see like what they're doing, like whoever stopped, like whoever captivated your attention?
I usually save the post and I'll look at it. I'm not like a huge proponent of like writing stuff anymore. Maybe it's just because we're in such a digital age. I think when I first started my copywriting journey, I was very much into the whole like, yeah, look at emails, study them, handwrite them, analyze them that way. But now if I ever see something, I'm like, okay, I do like that. So I'll just save it so I can look back and like use it for inspiration. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's
there's a few like creators I can think of who I've like definitely saved their posts as inspiration. Like, um, what's his name? John Brazio, I believe. I like
oh
his
yeah.
content. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's
he's the guy that was like a waiter, I believe, and then he like helps people with their offers. He has good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I actually did I've been trying to see I do keep a swipe file of other content of creators that I like just for inspiration because it's never fun staring like a blank screen. And I think that at times like lately what I've been doing is like putting like the first line in if it was like a really good one and then asking like Gemini to analyze it to see if there's any sort of pattern or like and it's funny that you say that because I think the one I analyzed the other day was similar to the one that you're talking about because I was like browsing, like I wanted to buy some Rivian stock and I was like browsing on it and then there was like a hook or a title that like caught me and it was saying something about some other stock that
Mhm.
wasn't Rivian that was like some sort of better pick or whatever. And it's like one of those things like when you're in that zone and like someone's like I got some other sauce that you don't know about, like you kind of get this like FOMO, you know? So I think that if it if it's done right, it's super cool. But closing out, where do we send people? I know you're a consultant, so like, could you just give people just a minute or two what you do and how to find you if they would like to work for you or follow you on socials?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the best way to reach me is LinkedIn.
No
Uh,
surprise.
yeah, right. But basically, what I do personally is I've kind of moved away from copywriting. I'll still do it if a client needs it, but right now I'm very focused on helping SaaS companies increase their retention and optimize their customer ascension paths. So, yeah.